For most of our lives, we've been told something that sounds very sensible. As we get older, we should take it easy. Sit down when we're tired, stay warm, eat regularly, avoid discomfort to stay safe. It sounds reasonable. And because it sounds so reasonable, very few of us ever stop to question it. But here's something worth pausing on. If rest alone were the key to health, why are so many people feeling weaker? Even though we live in warmer homes, with more comfort and convenience than any generation before us? I'm not saying this to scare you. In fact, I want you to stay calm. Because the issue isn't your age. The issue is something far more familiar. Comfort. Modern life has become incredibly easy. A chair is always nearby. Food is available at the press of a button. Temperature never really changes. We move from a climate-controlled house to a climate-controlled car to a climate-controlled shop. And the human body, as clever as it is, follows one very simple rule. What you don't use, you lose. Think about a brand new car. If it sits in a garage for years without being started or driven, it doesn't stay in perfect condition. Metal begins to rust, seals dry out, the engine stiffens. The body works much the same way. So the real question isn't, how do we avoid illness? The better question is this: what if the thing slowly wearing us down isn't disease at all, but the very sofa we sink into every day, believing it's keeping us safe? If that thought feels a little uncomfortable, that's okay. We're not talking about extremes, no drastic changes, just understanding how the body truly works, and how small, gentle challenges can help it stay strong, stay with me. So if comfort isn't the answer, what actually keeps the body strong as we age? This is where we need to introduce a simple but powerful idea: hormesis. It's not a medical buzzword you need to memorize. In plain terms, hormesis means this: a small amount of stress makes the body stronger, not extreme stress, not trauma, just the right dose. Your body isn't fragile, it's adaptive. When it encounters a mild challenge, it doesn't panic. It prepares. Think about how muscles work. If you never use them, they shrink. But if you place them under a manageable load, they respond by rebuilding stronger than before. Hormesis works the same way, but at a deeper level. A brief exposure to cold, a short period without food, a burst of effort that leaves you slightly out of breath. These aren't threats. They are signals. Signals that tell your body, stay alert, stay capable. We still need you. And this is where many people get confused. Not all stress is good. Chronic stress, the kind that never switches off, constant worry, lack of sleep, emotional overload, that breaks the body down. But short, controlled stress, followed by recovery, does the opposite. It switches on repair systems. It improves circulation. It sharpens metabolism. It reminds the body how to look after itself. Modern life has removed most of these signals. Everything is smooth, padded, predictable. Without challenge, the body assumes it's no longer needed at full capacity and slowly powers down. Hormesis is about restoring that conversation with your body, not forcing it, not punishing it, just giving it a gentle reason to stay strong. And the good news is this: you don't need big changes. Small signals are enough. For most of human history, temperature was never stable. Our ancestors didn't live in homes that stayed the same all year round. They felt the bite of winter. They sweated through summer. Their bodies had to work constantly just to stay balanced. That effort wasn't a problem. It was training. When it was cold, blood vessels tightened to preserve heat. When it was hot, they opened up to release it. This constant adjustment kept the cardiovascular system active and responsive. Now compare that to modern life. We live inside a permanent thermal bubble, around 72 degrees Fahrenheit, day and night. From a climate-controlled house, to a climate-controlled car, to a climate-controlled shop. It feels comfortable, but physiologically, it comes at a cost. When temperature never changes, the blood vessels stop practicing their job. The tiny muscles that help them expand and contract grow lazy. And just like any muscle that isn't used, they weaken over time. This is where something fascinating happens inside the body. When you experience brief heat or cold, your cells activate special repair systems called heat shock proteins and cold shock proteins. Think of them as maintenance crews. They move through your cells, repairing damaged proteins, cleaning up structural errors, and protecting tissues that would otherwise age faster. But if your body never feels hot or cold, those crews stay inactive. The solution doesn't need to be extreme. You don't need ice baths or desert marathons. We're talking about small, controlled exposure. One simple place to start is the shower. Enjoy your warm shower as usual. Then finish with 30 seconds of cooler water. Not freezing, just cool enough to make you take a deeper breath. That brief moment is enough to send a signal. If you have access to a sauna, even better. Heat increases heart rate in a way similar to gentle exercise, activating heat shock proteins and improving circulation. If not, a hot bath that makes you lightly sweat for 10 to 15 minutes works too. Think of your blood vessels like rubber bands. If they're never stretched, they become brittle. If they're gently challenged, they stay elastic. This isn't about discomfort for its own sake. It's about reminding the body how to adapt. And once it remembers, it responds remarkably well. Now we come to what may be the most uncomfortable idea of all, because it goes against what many of us were taught growing up. Most of us were told that eating regularly keeps us strong, 3 meals a day, snacks in between. And if we feel even slightly hungry, we should eat something straight away. It sounds caring, but biologically, it creates a problem. When we eat constantly, insulin stays high, and insulin is a storage hormone. When insulin is elevated, the body is in build and store mode, storing fat, growing cells, focusing on digestion. What it's not doing during that time is cleaning up. Inside every cell is a process called autophagy. The word simply means self-cleaning. When food is scarce and insulin drops, the body switches into maintenance mode. Cells start looking for damaged parts, broken proteins, and old components, and recycle them for energy. This is one of the body's most powerful anti-aging systems. But autophagy doesn't switch on when we're constantly eating. If energy is always coming in from the outside, the body never gets the signal to tidy up. This is where sirtuins come in. You can think of sirtuins as survival genes. When times are easy, they stay quiet. But when food becomes less frequent, they wake up. They help repair DNA, improve metabolic efficiency, protect muscle and brain tissue, and in many species, they're linked to longer lifespan. The goal here is not starvation, it's time-restricted eating. A simple starting point is a 12-hour eating window. If you have breakfast at 8 a.m., finish dinner by 8 p.m. Once that feels comfortable, you might gently extend it to 14 hours. During that fasting window, the body finally has space to repair. Many people worry this will make them weak. In reality, the opposite often happens. When you fast briefly, growth hormone increases, which helps protect muscle. The body prioritizes keeping muscle because it's essential for survival. This isn't about deprivation. It's about letting the body do what it was designed to do. You eat well. Then you rest your digestion. And while you sleep, your body quietly cleans house. That's not punishment. That's partnership. So far, we've talked about when we eat. Now let's look at what we eat and why some foods seem to do far more for our health than others. This brings us to a beautiful idea called xenohormesis. In simple terms, xenohormesis means this: we benefit from the stress experienced by plants. Plants can't run from danger. They can't escape heat, drought, insects, or harsh sunlight. So instead, they protect themselves by producing chemical compounds. These compounds often taste bitter, sharp, or intense. They give plants deep colors, dark greens, rich purples, vibrant reds. When we eat these plants, something interesting happens. Those compounds act as mild stress signals in our own bodies. They don't harm us, but they do wake up our internal defense systems. It's as if the body says, something challenging is coming. Let's strengthen our response. That's why foods that are bitter, spicy, or deeply colored often behave like medicine. Think about wild greens compared to supermarket iceberg lettuce. The wild plant has struggled. Wind, poor soil, pests. The pampered lettuce has lived an easy life. The result: the wild plant is packed with protective compounds. The easy one, not so much. This is why foods like dark, leafy greens, broccoli sprouts, turmeric, garlic, olives, berries, green tea, and even dark chocolate show such strong health benefits. They carry the chemical memory of struggle. And this is also why relying too heavily on supplements can be misleading. When we take high-dose antioxidants in pill form, we bypass the body's own adaptive response. Instead of training the system, we do the work for it, and the system grows lazy. Whole foods send a signal. Supplements often silence it. So rather than chasing sweetness and softness, it helps to welcome a little bitterness. Not as punishment, but as information. Your body understands that language very well. For many older adults, the biggest fear isn't illness, it's losing independence, not being able to get up easily, feeling unsteady on your feet, worrying about a fall, and what might come after it. So the advice often given sounds protective. Take it easy. Slow down. Don't push yourself. But here's the part most people aren't told. Muscle is expensive. It takes energy, oxygen, and nutrients for the body to maintain muscle tissue. If the body doesn't see a clear reason to keep that muscle, it begins to let it go. Not because something is wrong, but because the body is efficient. When movement stays slow and comfortable, the body assumes slow movement is all that's required. This is where fast-twitch muscle fibers come in. These are the fibers responsible for quick reactions. Catching yourself when you trip, standing up suddenly, regaining balance. They're also the first fibers we lose as we age, precisely because we stop using them. Walking is good, but only walking slowly all the time isn't enough. The body needs brief reminders that strength and speed still matter. The good news: those reminders can be simple and safe. One of the most effective exercises is the sit to stand. Sit on a sturdy chair, stand up with intention. A little faster than usual, then sit back down, slowly. 10 repetitions are enough to send a strong signal. Another option is short bursts of faster walking. Walk comfortably for a few minutes, then pick up the pace for 20-30 seconds, as if you're trying to catch a bus. Then slow down and recover. These short bursts tell the body, we still need power. They stimulate muscle preservation, improve balance, and encourage the mitochondria, the cell's energy engines. to multiply. This isn't about pushing to exhaustion. It's about reminding your body of what it's capable of. And when the body remembers, confidence follows. Strong legs don't just carry you, they carry your independence. Just like the body, the brain is designed to save energy. In fact, the brain uses around 20% of the body's total energy, so it's always looking for shortcuts. The easiest shortcut is repetition. When we do familiar things, watch the same shows, drive the same routes, solve the same puzzles, the brain switches into autopilot. That feels comfortable, but it comes at a cost. On autopilot, the brain isn't building new connections. It's simply replaying old ones. To stay healthy, the brain needs something different. It needs challenge. And that challenge often shows up as frustration. That slightly uncomfortable feeling when you're learning something new, when you forget, stumble, or feel awkward. That's not failure, that's growth. It's the brain releasing the chemicals that signal, pay attention, change is happening here. If everything feels easy all the time, the brain isn't adapting. The solution doesn't need to be complicated. Learning a new skill, trying a few words of a new language, changing routines. Even small things matter. Brushing your teeth with your non-dominant hand. Writing a shopping list instead of relying on memory, taking notes while watching a documentary, then explaining what you learned to someone else. These activities gently force the brain out of autopilot and into learning mode. The key isn't perfection, it's engagement. A brain that's occasionally challenged stays flexible, curious, and resilient. And just like the body, when the brain is given the right kind of challenge, it responds, even later in life. By now, one thing should be clear. Your body is not broken. It's not failing because of age. It's a remarkably intelligent, self-repairing system. It just needs the right signals. For most of modern life, we've removed those signals in the name of comfort, warm all the time, well-fed all the time, moving gently all the time. And without challenge, the body quietly powers down. The good news is this doesn't require a complete overhaul. You don't need to change everything. In fact, trying to do too much often backfires. What matters is one small signal. A brief moment of cooler water at the end of a shower, a slightly longer gap between dinner and breakfast, standing up with purpose instead of slowly easing out of a chair, learning something new, even if it feels awkward. These aren't punishments, they're conversations with your body. They say, we're still here, we still need strength, we're not finished yet. Start with one change today, just one. Let your body respond, because it will. Strength isn't about pushing harder. It's about staying engaged, and that choice, you get to make it every single day.